comes calling for me. Will I live the way I believe when I'm backed up against the wall? What kind of heart do I have in my chest? Does it beat for my Savior or just for my flesh? What will I do in the moment that everything falls? I'm gonna stand in a world that's breaking, stand for a truth unchanging. I'm not ashamed of consider the cost. I'll stay right here at the foot of the cross and stand up for the one who gave everything. Stand up because you deserve all of me. Not gonna give up, not gonna give in now. Stand up for the one who gave everything. Stand up because you deserve all of me. Not gonna give up, not gonna give in now. Oh, and if it takes all I am, I'm gonna stand in a world that's breaking, stand for a truth unchanging. I'm not ashamed of consider the cost. I'll stay right here at the foot of the cross and stand. Jesus, help me stand. I'm not ashamed of consider the
What's good, fam? Hope you guys are all doing good this Wednesday afternoon. You are with us on another moment, a short moment of the something extra. And today we're going to be speaking about doing things for the show. And this is going to be an easy subject to relate because it has to do with something which a lot of young people do, showing off, to show to others. I'm going to shortly read to you guys the exact meaning of it, the dictionary explanation of the word, the expression showing off. And an interesting factor about it is that it's usually a negative connotation. But ironically, it's something which a lot of people like to do. It is something which people find pleasure in doing, showing off, showing to people what they've achieved, what they have, their abilities for a certain thing, and so forth. So an interesting thing is how often young people will find pleasure in specifically showing off and specifically showing to others their achievements. Excuse me, just lower this volume. In showing to others their achievements, showing to others their accomplishments. But there's a price tag to this. There is a side of the coin of showing off, which a lot of people might not have noticed. And this is what I want to address today. So just a short explanation here. I want to display this here for you guys. Let me just get it here properly. There we go. And then let me just add my window here as well, so that whilst I speak to you guys, we read it together. Give me just a second here. I was just preparing this just before we started. Okay, there we go. So showing off typically refers to the act of boastfully or bragging, right? Boastfully displaying one's abilities, achievements, or possessions to impress or attract attention. It often carries a negative connotation. Not often will we say somebody is showing off in the positive connotation. So it's usually attached to a negative connotation, implying that the display is excessive or annoying. Now, I would say that there are different levels of boasting. There are different levels of showing off. I would say that a person doesn't just show off like deliberately, I'm showing off. But there are scenarios in which a person will be boasting, a person will be bragging, or as we like calling it, flossing or flaunting. And it may seem subliminal, but they don't know that in actual fact, here's the gist of what I want to share here today. I'm not going to be here for too long, but this is the gist I want to share with you, is that oftentimes a person is showing off because they simply don't believe enough in themselves. They want the validation of others. They don't do something because they appreciate it for themselves, because they enjoy it. So they are in a group of friends listening to a certain track and they are jamming to that track, not specifically because they enjoy the track, but hey, everybody here is enjoying it. So I need to fit in. I need to do this so that, and they even go to the excessive extent of showing off that they know the song or dance to the song with a little bit more of energy to it, to show to people that they know it. And then there is the very common case. This one's very common. When a person will buy designer brands, designer clothes, to show to people they can afford it, to show to people what they've accomplished, to show to people what they've achieved. So this has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that they liked the clothes. At times, I'm going to be very frank with you on this one. Sometimes the clothing is horrible. Here in Joburg, we have in one of our malls the Diamond Walk, with the most expensive designer brands. And what fascinates me is that oftentimes the pieces of clothing, those items, are actually horrible. Horrible. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but that's my honest opinion about it. But because that person wants to achieve or to I find it interesting, displaying one's ability, and the second line says displaying one's abilities, achievements, or possessions to impress or attract attention. Ironically, many, not all, of course, there are exceptions to every rule, but ironically, most of the times, these expensive designer clothes are actually very flashy. They scream, they yell for attention, they scream for attention. So the person wants everybody to look at them. Yo, look at me. This is this brand. This is Louis. This is Gucci. This is Prada. This is Chanel. This is blah, blah, blah. You name it. And, usually these brands will be screaming. And there are other expensive designer brands, but ironically, people don't go for these ones. They go for the one in which they do things for the show. So even what they wear, because what we wear usually says a lot about who we are. What we are dressed says a lot about us. Simple example, you see somebody with torn clothes, very dirty, unfortunately with an unpleasant odor. Naturally, you will say, that's a homeless person. Let me help that person. Now, if you see somebody who's well-dressed, suit and tie and so forth, you're not going to offer them, hey, I bought this extra. Would you like this? You look hungry. No, you don't even do that, because that person, what they dressed says a lot about them, even if that's not the case, but it makes you give that person a certain level of seriousness. But moral of the story is, what you do, what you like, and what you wear. My question is this, and this is where I'm going to leave you guys with today. I want you to ponder upon this. And those of you who are watching in the branches, this is where I want to leave you guys for a short discussion. What you wear, what you do, what you like, do you do it because you enjoy that, or do you do it because others want you to do it? I've said this many times before, and it's worth repeating. If you live a life to impress others, you don't live your life, you live theirs. If you live a life in which it's about what people are thinking rather than what you know or believe you know for yourself or need for yourself, I'm very sorry to tell you, you don't live your life. You don't even live your dreams. You live theirs. As a matter of fact, it might not even be their dream for you to be obtaining whatever you're trying to obtain or show off, doing for the show. But the fact is, you're living a life based on the vision of others. And that's such a deadly trap, because many young people have lost themselves. They've lost their true identity. They've lost everything about themselves. They don't know what to do. They've fallen into anxiety and depression, a state of depression, because they've realized that everything they are trying to obtain or achieve, they are failing, or they've achieved it for others, but not for themselves. So ask yourself, the things you do, the things you enjoy, the things you like, the things you wear, the things you do not do, your behavior in general. When you wake up in the morning and you have to pick a set of clothing, if you're not going to school, then it's uniform. Maybe even your uniform, you dress like others. Not because you find it cool, but because everybody's doing it. You don't want to be left out. So be careful. Be careful, because you might just be losing your identity and losing yourself. And as much as you'll be fighting for a dream, you think it's your dream, but as a matter of fact, you are fighting for the dreams of others. That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. And I want you to ponder upon this. If you guys are watching in any of the branches, make sure to discuss, take some time, sit, discuss, and ask yourselves. Share a couple of examples and scenarios in which you guys were trying to show off to others. And please take this link as well and share with others. I'm sure it will be helpful for each and every one of you. Got it? This Saturday, we'll be back for the Vibe O'Clock, which will be back with a bang, and a few new things which we're going to be bringing and introducing here to the Vibe O'Clock. I hope you guys are ready for it. Not forgetting, if you are going through something, you are facing something, you're dealing with a crisis in your life right now, I want to remind you that the VYG fam is here for you, And at any given moment, feel free to DM us. We're here to assist and to help you. Got it? Take care of yourselves. We are going to be heading out of here. And don't forget, there ain't no stopping us. We out of here. Let's press this thing here for it to end.